If you have ever tried to fix your morning routine but failed within a week, then this video is for you. The problem isn't discipline, it's something you haven't seen yet. Every time you try to wake up early, fix your sleep, or push harder, you always end up right back where you started. And that's not random. Almost every failed morning routine falls into the same three loops. But once you know them, you will wake up energized, your nights won't pull you off track, and your mornings will finally feel like they're yours. And I know this because I was stuck in the exact same loop. I worked full time in tech, so mornings were the only time I had to build something for myself. And every time I hit that snooze button, I was giving up the only part of the day that was actually mine. And the worst part, the things that I actually wanted in my life were on the line and I was watching months slip by. So I just told myself what most people do, that I just need more discipline. But that's not what was happening. There's a deeper reason behind this. And once you see it, the snooze button stops being confusing. Because this isn't really about waking up early. It's about what your morning is asking from you. Your brain isn't trying to help you wake up. It's trying to protect you from something that already feels heavy. Think about when you were a kid, when you had plans to play football early in the morning. You didn't need an alarm, you didn't sleep late, you just woke up. Why? Because waking up then wasn't a tough choice, it was the fun choice. Now look at your mornings today. The moment you wake up, there's something waiting for you, something demanding. So your brain does exactly what it's designed to do. It delays it. And that's what the snooze button really is. It's not laziness, it's resistance. You're not avoiding waking up, you're avoiding a day that doesn't feel like yours. What you want and what you're waking up to are completely different things. And your brain will always keep on choosing the easier side of the gap. And that's why you keep on hitting snooze. But here's the part no one ever tells you. Most of your day isn't even yours, it's already decided. Mornings are the only part left that you actually own. And if that part also feels like something you have to do, then why would your brain ever choose it? And that's the mistake. You're turning the only free part of the day into an obligation. So instead of forcing discipline, I flipped it. I stopped starting my mornings with what I should do and replaced it with something that I want to do. And here's where it gets interesting. It doesn't have to be small. I start my morning with something difficult, learning to hack. It takes focus, it's mentally demanding, but I still look forward to waking up to it. Because that part of the day actually feels like mine and I actually enjoy doing it. The rest of the day feels like obligation, but that part, it feels like freedom. The moment your brain realizes that this part is yours, everything changes. Now waking up isn't an effort because staying in bed feels like missing out. And when your morning finally feels like that, you stop hitting snooze. But this is where most people mess it up. Not when they fail, but when things start working. Because that's when you optimize. You start adding more habits, more structure, more rules, until your mornings stop feeling like something you chose and start feeling like something you have to keep up with. You start looking at other people's routines and suddenly you feel like you're falling behind, like you're not doing enough. So naturally you try to fix it. You try to do everything in the morning, workout, diet, meditation, deep work, all before your day even begins. I did the exact same thing. Woke up at 6, went for a run, came back exhausted, tried meditation, manifestation, forced deep work, and for few days it felt like I was being productive. But very quickly it started breaking because by the time my actual day started, I had used up most of my energy and the rest of the day just felt like survival. And this is the part that most people miss. It's not that those things don't work, it's that they only work when they actually fit your life. Because the problem isn't routine, it's copying someone else's version of it. And your brain can tell the difference. The moment something feels like a system you have to execute, it starts resisting it. Not loudly, but subtly. You feel it as friction, as delay, as that constant low resistance throughout a day. And slowly it compounds. Because if even one day gets skipped, it's not just the day you lose the momentum. That one skip day turns into weeks, then months, and suddenly you're back where you started. And this is where everything flips. Mornings are not about doing more, they're about doing what actually fits your day. Because you don't just have mornings, you have an entire day to carry. And if your morning drains you, you've already lost the day. That's exactly what was happening to me. My day after 10 a.m. is packed. I need energy, I need a clear mind just to get through it. But I was spending all of that before my day even began. No space, no control, no energy left. Even meditation didn't work because when I tried to sit in the morning, my mind was already full of everything I had to do that day. So instead of feeling calm, it just became another task that I was trying to finish. And that's when I realized that I don't need a better routine. I need a routine that fits my day. So I changed the timings. In the morning, I started my day with things that made me feel in control, like the day was mine. Then I focused on my work where my energy was actually needed. And in the evening, when my work was done, that's when I go for a run and exercise properly. And it works better because now I can actually afford to spend the rest of my energy. And within a few days, I noticed something else. I wasn't feeling exhausted during the day anymore. I wasn't skipping my routine after 2-3 days. I was actually being consistent. And even meditation started feeling effective. Because now when I sit, my mind isn't full of pending tasks. It's calmer and clearer. And that calm carries into the next day, helping me focus better, think clear, and handle work without feeling overwhelmed. And here's the interesting part. Nothing I did was complicated. I didn't add more things. I just stopped forcing everything into the morning, and that alone changed everything. Because your routine shouldn't just work for an hour, it should work for your entire day. And when it does, you don't feel like you're forcing it anymore. You feel like it fits. And when something fits, you don't need discipline to maintain it. Because now it's not something you're trying to follow, it's just how you operate. And when your routine finally starts fitting your life, there's still something that quietly pulls you back into the old cycle every night. And the weird part is, it doesn't even feel bad when it's happening. And that's what makes us fall into the midnight loop. Because after carrying pressure and responsibility for the entire day, your brain starts craving something that feels easy. Something that feels like freedom. No pressure, no expectation, no one needing anything from you. Just you and your phone. And that's why we all say the same thing. Just 10 more minutes. And somehow it's suddenly 1 a.m. Even while scrolling, somewhere in my mind I knew that tomorrow morning was gone. But still my finger kept scrolling anyway. And that's the part I couldn't understand. Why does the brain keep choosing the exact thing that makes the next day worse? And that's when I realized something important. The midnight loop isn't really about the phone. It's about what your brain starts to crave after carrying the pressure the entire day. That tiny hit of anticipation, the feeling that maybe the next reel, the next video, the next thing you watch might finally satisfy you. And after a stressful day, that anticipation feels like freedom. That's why scrolling at night hits different. It feels safe, like for the first time all day, your brain is finally free from responsibilities. And this is exactly why it becomes dangerous, because somewhere deep down, you already know that tomorrow morning is gone. But at that moment, the next video still feels more comforting than sleep itself. And that's when I realized something important. The problem was not dopamine, it was the quality of dopamine. Just like desserts, the more sugar you eat, the more sugar you crave the next day. And that same thing was happening with my mind every night. So instead of trying to completely quit content, I changed the type of anticipation I was feeding my brain. I stopped ending my nights with short form content and started ending them with one meaningful long form podcast or video before 11 pm. Podcasts about psychology, mindset, purpose, people building meaningful lives. And honestly, in the beginning, it felt boring, just like salad feels boring when you're used to eating desserts. But after a week, something genuinely started changing. I started waking up with ideas in my mind instead of noise. The cheap content that once felt addictive slowly started to feel irritative. Not because I was forcing discipline, but because now my mind had tasted something better. And this is the interesting part. Once your brain experiences meaningful anticipation, mindless scrolling stops feeling exciting anymore. It starts feeling empty. And after just 2 weeks, I genuinely didn't want to go back to the old habits anymore, because now my brain already had something meaningful to wake up for tomorrow. And honestly, once I fixed these 3 loops together, waking up early stopped feeling like the impossible thing I had to force myself into. Because the problem was never really waking up, it was the way I was living the rest of my day. The snooze loop was making my mornings feel heavy, the template loop was making my routine feel unnatural. The midnight loop was making my mind crave distractions instead of clarity. So even though waking up early is actually a very natural thing, my lifestyle was pulling me in the opposite direction. But once those things changed, morning started feeling different again. My mind felt lighter, more clearer, more in control. And if you want more videos like this about building a life that actually feels meaningful instead of just being productive, then subscribe. Because that's what this channel is really about.